How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Mullen, which was down almost 4% on the day. It had a pullback, but with the price action, it's definitely looking interesting. I'll talk about it further in this video. I won't be wasting any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Mullen. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 98 cents, being down 3.92%. On the low, it tested 98 cents, and then on the high, testing $1.05. So we ended up getting a higher high from yesterday, which is at $1.04. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 32.191 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 48.835 million shares. So right away, you can see that we had below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we witnessed a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 37.70. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here on our chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Mullen is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So we ended up making a lower low today, testing at 98 cents. If you remember yesterday, it was right around 99 cents. So we want to see going into tomorrow, will there be a continuation of this? Will we break 98 and possibly have a test around 95 or even in the low 90-cent range? We have to keep an eye. If we end up breaking through those levels, though, we want to look for a double bottom reversal off of 76 cents. This is where we really want the bulls to start stepping in and bringing the stock price back up. I know what you're saying, Dre. That is a far cry away. We still closed at 98 cents, and that's understandable. But we always got to make sure that we plan ahead here. But it does look like a double bottom reversal could occur off of 70 cents, and possibly it could even happen right here around 78 cents as well. It all depends, because remember, the last time when I was looking at support, looking for that bounce, was around 73. And in the most recent case, it did the bounce right off around 75, 76. So we're going to have a continuation of that pattern. Hey, it might end up being a little bit higher than that 75-cent level that we want to keep an eye on. But at least you know what to prepare for. Now, we did end up doing a higher high. So you'd want to see it get back to the 21-day EMA at $1.18. And that's a target that I would stick with for now. Of course, you want to see it get to the 50-day moving average and so forth, but first it needs to get to the 21-day EMA, because once it's able to do this and it can build support and has some strength there, then that's where we can start seeing some more upside in the play. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information from Mullen. As we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 26th, we have Total Stock Market Index Fund Trust that purchased 108 shares, and that's pretty much what we have for new filings. But we also see some changes here. So we have iShares Micro Cap ETF that reduced their position by 61.11%, and we also see Extended Market Index Fund that reduced their position by 52.94%. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 26.38%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 4.32 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability liabilities at 650,000, updated 11 minutes ago. And then for the short biweekly rate, it's at 3.29%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 24th, it is at 23.55. And then for the close of the 25th, being at 26.38. So what does that show us? Yes, Mullen does not have short squeeze potential, since the short interest percentage of the float is at 11.66%. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Mullen. So we see on the inflow, it is at 8.14 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 8.65 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 1.61 million. On the medium, it was 5.33 million, and then on the small, it was 1.20 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 2.84 million. On the medium, it was 4.53 million, and then on the small, it was 1.28 million. Overall, it was an outflow day. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, May the 26th, we had that outflow of negative 1.24 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then for the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 9.77%. No surprises there. We know that Mullen is a volatile stock. And as far as for the price action is concerned, it's continuing to trade in a very tight range. So let's move on to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Mullen when it comes to the price action, so the high of the day was at $1.05. So we're able to form a higher high. If you remember on the previous trading day, it was at $1.04. And as far as where we tested on the low, we ended up testing 98 cents. And on the previous day, it was around 99 cents. So we did have a lower low. So going into tomorrow, if we decide to pull back even further, then I want to see if support could kick in around 95 or 93 cents. If that ends up being the case, then it does look interesting going into next week. But here's the thing. The last time we had our reversal, it was around 76 cents. So does it need to pull back to that level for bulls to start stepping in and buy this play to see if we can get a double bottom? Hey, that may potentially be the case. But also, if you remember, I was saying that I was looking for support to kick in at 73. But in the recent case, it was at 76. So could we have support actually wanting to kick in around 80 cents for Mullen? Hey, that might end up happening. Or it could happen in the 90s. I just know this particular area where it's trading in, it is consolidating. So if it's going to continue to consolidate to the downside, keep an eye on those levels that I spoke about. But it's very easy for a catalyst to come through and this stock could start taking off, especially since it did form a higher high. So you want to be aware of that. I'm not saying to go out there and buy it right now at the current price levels. I just say wait for that pullback. Wait for the price to come to you. There's no reason to have any FOMO whatsoever. And when it does get into that 70-cent range, what I'm looking for the bulls to show up. Also, we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership. We do see some activity, but we do not see a lot whatsoever. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, it still continues. Unfortunately for Mullen, it doesn't have short squeeze potential. So that is why if you're looking for a move to the upside, the price area you want to keep an eye on is around the 21-day EMA, which is at $1.18. So please add that to your homework. And of course, you want to see it build some support and then seeing what it can do from there. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I can't wait to see how Mullen performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.